The Galactic Council station floated in the black of space like a small moon. It was huge, bigger than any city on Earth, and it held representatives from 47 different alien species. For 3 years now, humanity had a seat at the table. They were the youngest species ever invited to join. Ambassador Daniel Collins stood in the main hall, watching ships come and go through the massive windows. He had been stationed here for 2 years, working to build relationships with species that had been traveling the stars for thousands of years before humans even invented the wheel. It was hard work, but he loved it. Today, though, he had something else on his mind. His daughter was coming. 8-year-old Emma Collins had won a contest back on Earth. She had written an essay about why different species should work together, about how everyone could learn from each other. The judges loved it so much they gave her first prize. That prize was a trip to the council station to read her essay in front of all the delegates. Daniel saw the transport ship dock through the window. His heart lifted. He had not seen Emma in 4 months. Space diplomatic work meant long separations from family. He walked quickly to the docking bay. Emma ran to him the moment she saw him. She was small for her age, with dark hair in 2 braids and eyes that seemed to take in everything at once. She carried a small Earth flag that her whole class had signed. "Dad!" she shouted, hugging him tight. "Hey, sweetheart," Daniel said, picking her up even though she insisted she was too old for that now. "I'm nervous," Emma admitted. "What if I mess up? You won't. And even if you do, they'll love you anyway. Trust me." The next day, Emma stood in the council chamber. It was a circular room with seats rising up in tiers all around. Each species had their own section. The Vryn, tall and thin with silver skin. The Draka, who looked like walking lizards. The Methani, floating in tanks of liquid. And dozens more. First, Emma looked tiny at the center podium. Her voice shook a little as she started reading. "My name is Emma Collins, and I am from Earth. I wrote this essay because I think the galaxy is better when we help each other. On Earth, we have many different kinds of people. Sometimes we fight, but we are learning to work together. I think the Council is like that too. We are all different, but we can be friends." Some of the aliens made sounds that Daniel knew meant approval. The Vryn delegate clicked her mandibles together in their version of applause. Even the stern Karathi representatives seemed to be listening carefully. Emma kept reading. "Every species knows something special. The Vryn are good at building things. The Methani understand math better than anyone. Humans are good at adapting and never giving up. If we share what we know, everyone gets stronger. That is why the Council is important. That is why I am glad humanity has a place here. It is not rhyme, are graded, ask for, are graded, and are grade, are graded, are graded. Everyone gets stronger." Daniel felt proud watching her. She was doing great. The nervousness had left her voice. She was almost finished now. Then Counselor Vrax stood up. Vrax was a Chthon, a species that looked somewhat like 4-legged cats but much larger, with darker eyes and hands that could grip like a human's. The Chthons controlled 12 systems and had one of the largest militaries in Council space. They had never been happy about humans joining. They thought humans were too primitive, too dangerous. "Point of order," Vrax said, his voice cutting through the chamber. The council speaker, a Vryn named Talix, looked annoyed. "Counselor Vrax, the child is almost finished. This is not the time for—" "I invoke emergency security protocol," Vrax said loudly. "I have evidence that the human delegation has been developing weapons in violation of council law. Prohibited weapons." The chamber erupted in shocked voices. Daniel stood up, his blood going cold. "That is a lie," he shouted. "We have followed every rule, every treaty." "I have proof," Vrax said. He activated a hologram that showed technical specifications, supply orders, communication, intercepts. Daniel looked at them and felt his stomach drop. They were fake, they had to be, but they looked real. Someone had spent a lot of time making them look real. This is fabricated, Daniel said. None of this is true. I demand a full investigation. There is no time for investigation, Vrax said. The threat is immediate. I am authorized to act. Daniel saw Vrax reach into his robe. He saw the weapon come out. Time seemed to slow down. He saw Vrax aim not at him, but at Emma, still standing at the podium with her signed flag. No! Daniel screamed. He started running, but he was too far away. 20 meters. Emma saw it too. She saw the weapon. She saw where it was pointed. And instead of freezing, instead of running away, she moved toward her father. She was trying to push him out of the way. This 8-year-old child was trying to save her father's life. The weapon fired. It made a sound like thunder in the enclosed space. The blast hit Emma square in the chest. She flew backward and hit the ground and did not move. Daniel reached her seconds later. He knew immediately. He had seen enough death in his career to recognize it. But he still picked her up, still held her, still begged her to wake up. Emma, he whispered. Emma, please, please, baby, wake up. She did not wake up. She would never wake up. The flag was still in her small hand, crumpled now. The signatures of her classmates smudged with blood. The council chamber was chaos. Security rushed forward. Some delegates were shouting at Vrax. Others were trying to help Daniel. Vrax stood calmly, the weapon still in his hand. It was a necessary action, Vrax said. The human delegation posed a security risk. I had evidence. I had authority. This was lawful. You killed a child. The Vryn delegate Talix was shaking with rage. You murdered a child who was reading an essay. Collateral damage in a security operation, Vrax said coldly. Regrettable, but lawful. The next hours were a blur for Daniel. Medical teams confirmed what he already knew. Emma was dead. The Cathon delegation presented their evidence to the Council's Judicial Committee. That evidence, all fake, all lies, was examined. And because the Cathons were powerful, because they controlled 12 systems and hundreds of warships, because politics mattered more than truth, the committee issued their ruling. The killing was deemed a lawful act of preventive security. Daniel read the verdict while holding Emma's body. He read it 3 times to make sure he understood. They were saying it was legal to murder his daughter. They were saying Vrax did nothing wrong. Human ships arrived to evacuate the delegation. Captain Greg Hayes. The council expected anger. They expected protests. Maybe sanctions. Perhaps some angry speeches. What they got instead was silence. Within 1 day, every human left council space. Diplomats packed their things and left without a word. Scientists working on joint projects simply walked away from their labs. Traders in the markets closed up their stalls. Civilians on exchange programs boarded ships and departed. Nobody said goodbye. Nobody filed formal complaints. They just left. The human embassy on the council station went dark. The doors locked. The lights turned off. When council security tried to enter, they found the entire facility had been stripped clean. Not a single piece of paper remained. Not one computer. Nothing. Commander Jake Martinez watched the last evacuation ship leave from the bridge of his destroyer. He had been part of the escort fleet, making sure every human got home safely. Now his orders were to return to Earth and await further instructions. Sir, his communications officer said, the Vryn delegation is trying to contact us. They want to express condolences and ask for dialogue. No response, Jake said flatly. The Methani are also calling. They say they voted against the judicial ruling. They want us to know they are on our side. Everway. Arced. Our man. The Methani are also calling. They want us to know they are on our side. Armastaminted. No response. Sir, we have 23 different species trying to reach us. Jake turned to look at his crew. They all had the same look in their eyes. They had all seen the footage of Emma Collins being shot. They had all read the council's ruling that called it legal. Communications blackout, Jake ordered. Effective immediately. No incoming or outgoing messages to any non-human source. We are going silent. Yes, sir. The human borders closed within 48 hours. Every jump gate leading into human territory was shut down. Every communication relay went offline. Human space became a black hole in the galactic network. Messages sent in were not answered. Ships attempting to enter were turned back by automated defense systems. On Earth, Daniel Collins walked into a meeting room deep under the military headquarters in Geneva. He had not slept since Emma died. He carried her flag with him, the one her classmates signed. He would carry it everywhere now. The room held 20 people. Military commanders, intelligence directors, the heads of Earth's research divisions, and the Secretary General of the United Earth Government. They all stood when Daniel entered. "Sit down," Daniel said. He was still technically just an ambassador, but nobody questioned him. Not now. Admiral Ryan Foster was the first to speak. He was the head of the Earth Defense Fleet. A career military man with 40 years of experience. He looked old, suddenly. Tired. "We have pulled back all our assets," Ryan said. "Every human is accounted for and safe. The Council is trying to make contact hourly. We have not responded." "Good," Daniel said. "Dr. Chen, what is the status of the Black Projects?" Dr. Lisa Chen was a small woman with gray hair and sharp eyes. She ran the Human Research Collective, the division that worked on experimental technology. A lot of her work was classified. "The stealth ships are ready," Lisa said. "All 70 of them. The molecular disruptors are tested and functional. The gravity well, generators are deployed. The slip space drives are operational. Everything we have been holding back is now available for use." One of the intelligence directors leaned forward. His name was Carl Stone, and he looked worried. "If we use this technology, the Council will know we have been hiding our capabilities. They will know we have been lying about our tech level for 3 years. "Good," Daniel said again. "Let them know. Let them understand exactly how much we have been holding back while we tried to play nice. While we tried to be part of their council. While my daughter wrote essays about cooperation." The room was quiet for a moment. "What are your orders?" Ryan asked. Daniel spread out a star map on the table. It showed Council space, the territories of all 47 species. He looked at it for a long time. "The Cathon Empire has 12 systems, 73 colonies, and 400 military installations. I want a strike plan for every single one. Not the civilians. I am not becoming like them. But every military target, every government facility, every ship they have. I want it all gone." "That is a massive operation," Ryan said. "It will take weeks of sustained assault." "I know. And the Council will intervene. Other species will come to the Cathon's defense. Then we add them to the list." Ryan nodded slowly. "Understood. When do we move?" "We give the Council 21 days, Daniel said. 21 days to overturn their ruling. 21 days to arrest Vrax and everyone who voted to call my daughter's murder legal. 21 days to prove they actually believe in justice." "And if they don't?" Lisa asked, though she already knew the answer. Daniel looked at her. His eyes were cold. Empty. He looked like a man who had died, but kept walking anyway. "Then we burn their entire civilization to ash and let them rebuild from the ruins." The 21 days passed slowly. The Council argued among themselves. 15 species demanded the ruling be overturned. They wanted Vrax arrested and tried. But the Cathons were powerful. They had allies. They had trade agreements. They had military might. The Council could not agree on what to do. Some species tried to send private messages to Earth. They sent condolences. They sent promises of support. They sent pleas for patience. Every message went into the void. No human responded. The Vryn delegate Talix made a public statement condemning Emma's death. She called it murder, not a security operation. She resigned from the council in protest. It made no difference. The ruling stood. On day 20, the council's central committee met in emergency session. They debated for 16 hours. In the end, they voted not to overturn the ruling. It was too political. It would set a bad precedent. It would anger the Cathons. They chose their politics over a dead child. On day 21, Daniel Collins appeared on every screen in council space. Every ship, every station, every planet with a receiver. The transmission was simple, just his face and his voice. "My name is Daniel Collins," he said. 21 days ago, my daughter Emma was murdered in your council chamber. She was 8 years old. She was reading an essay about cooperation and friendship. Councillor Vrax shot her, and your judicial committee called it legal. He held up the flag, the one Emma had carried, still stained with her blood. I gave you 21 days to correct this injustice. I gave you 21 days to show that your council actually stands for something. You chose politics instead. You chose power instead. You chose to let my daughter's killer walk free. Daniel's voice did not rise. It stayed calm, almost gentle. That made it worse, somehow. So now you will learn what humanity does when you murder our children and call it law. We are not coming to negotiate. We are not coming for trials or justice or reparations. We are coming to end you. All of you. Every military installation, every government official, everyone who voted to call my daughter's death legal. We are coming, and we will not stop until you are broken beyond repair. He leaned closer to the camera. May your gods have mercy on you, because we will have none. The transmission ended. 6 hours later, every long-range sensor array in council space went offline simultaneously. Something had blinded them, made it impossible to see beyond their own star systems. The council was deaf and blind. Admiral Ryan Foster stood on the bridge of the EDF Retribution, humanity's newest and most powerful ship. The council did not know it existed. They did not know about the weapons it carried. They did not know what humanity was capable of. All fleets report ready, sir, his tactical officer said. Ryan looked at the tactical display. 70 stealth ships, invisible to council sensors, 300 destroyers, 500 support craft. The entire might of Earth's hidden military, built in secret over the past decade. Signal all ships, Ryan said. Operation Broken Shield is active. Weapons free on all Cathon military targets. Civilian casualties are to be avoided. Anyone who harms a non-combatant will answer to me personally. But the Cathon military is to be completely destroyed. Every ship, every station, every installation. Show them what happens when they kill our children. The fleet moved forward into the dark. The council, blind and confused, waited to see what was coming. They did not have to wait long. Jake Martinez led the first attack wing. His target was a Cathon military shipyard in the outer territories. He watched the yards appear on his sensors, watched the Cathon warships docked there for maintenance. Big ships, powerful ships, ships that had never lost a battle. All units, fire at will, Jake said. The human ships dropped their stealth. They appeared in the middle of the Cathon formation like ghosts materializing from nothing. The molecular disruptors fired. They did not use explosions, or plasma, or missiles. They used something worse. The Cathon ships simply came apart at the atomic level, turning from metal and circuits into clouds of disconnected atoms. The Cathon High Command gathered in their war room on Cathon Prime. They had lost 60% of their military in 36 hours. Hundreds of ships destroyed. Dozens of bases wiped out. 43 colonies had gone dark, their garrisons simply vanishing. High Commander Draxus, the leader of all Cathon military forces, stared at the tactical display. Red marks showed where they had lost assets. There were so many red marks The map looked like it was bleeding. How are they doing this? Draxus demanded. How are humans, who we thought were barely capable of basic spaceflight, destroying our fleets? They have technology we did not know existed, his intelligence chief said. Stealth systems that make them invisible. Weapons that disintegrate matter. Engines that move faster than anything we have. They have been lying to us for 3 years, hiding their real capabilities. Draxus slammed his fist on the table. The Chthons had been the dominant military power in this sector for 2,000 years. They had crushed rebellions and won wars. They were not supposed to lose to a species that had only been in space for 100 years. Where are they now? Draxus asked. Everywhere. They hit multiple targets simultaneously. They strike and vanish before we can respond. Our fleets cannot catch them. Our weapons cannot lock on to them. It is like fighting shadows. Another officer ran into the room. Sir, we just lost the academy on Chthon 2. The entire facility is gone. How many casualties? 4,000 cadets. 2,000 instructors. All dead. Draxus felt something cold in his chest. Those were children. Young Chthons training to serve their empire. The humans had killed them all. They dropped some kind of device, the officer continued. It created a gravity well. The entire academy was crushed into a sphere 3 meters wide. Everything, everyone, compressed into a ball of matter. The room went silent. That kind of weapon, that kind of technology, should not exist. It was beyond anything the Council knew how to build. Send a message to Earth, Draxus said. Tell them we surrender. Tell them we will turn over Vrax for justice. Tell them we will accept any terms. The communications officer shook his head. We have been trying, sir. They are not responding. They are not accepting surrender. What do you mean they are not accepting surrender? There are rules. Protocols. You cannot refuse surrender. They are refusing, sir. They are not interested in surrender. Captain Brandon Hughes brought his battle group out of slipspace near Chthon IV. The planet below was a major industrial world, producing weapons and ships for the Chthon military. Intelligence said there were no civilians, just military personnel and contractors. Scan for population centers, Brandon ordered. Sir. Detecting military barracks, production facilities, and administrative buildings. Approximately 90,000 personnel on planet. Any civilians? Any non-military? Negative, sir. This is a military-only installation, Brandon nodded. The orders were clear. Military targets were fair game. Civilians were not to be touched. Humanity might be angry, might be brutal in their revenge, but they would not become mass murderers of innocents. All ships, target the production facilities, gravity well generators on my mark. Fire. The devices fell from orbit. They activated 200 meters above the surface. Gravity increased 1,000-fold in a localized area. The production facilities collapsed, metal and concrete and equipment all crushed together. The people inside died instantly, their bodies compressed with everything else. In 5 minutes, the entire military industry on Chthon IV was destroyed. 90,000 Chthon soldiers and military workers were dead. Brandon's fleet suffered no damage. Moving to next target, Brandon reported. He felt nothing. Emma Collins had been 8 years old. She had been reading an essay. These Chthons had weapons and training. They could have stopped Vrax. They chose not to. Now, they paid the price. On the council station, the remaining delegates watched in horror as reports came in. The Vryn delegate Talix, who had resigned in protest, came back to speak to the assembly. This is what you have created, she said, her voice shaking with anger. You chose politics over justice. You let a child's murderer go free because you feared the Chthons. Now look at what is happening. The humans are destroying an entire empire, and they are doing it with precision we cannot match. Counselor Hexus of the Draka stood up. The Draka were warriors, proud and strong. But even Hexus looked shaken. "We must stop this," Hexus said. "The Cathons are our allies. We must defend them." "Defend them how?" Talix shot back. "The humans have technology we cannot counter. They have rage we cannot calm. And they are right. We murdered a child and called it legal. What did you think would happen? We must send our fleets," Hexus insisted. "We must show the humans that the Council stands together." "Then the humans will destroy your fleets too," Talix said. "And probably your worlds as well." "Is that what you want?" The Council voted. 23 species voted to intervene and help the Cathons. 15 voted against. 9 abstained. It was enough to authorize military action. The Draka sent their fleet, one of the most powerful in Council space. 600 warships, under the command of war leader Krenth. They moved to defend Cathan holdings in the outer systems. Admiral Ryan Foster received the intelligence report on his command ship. The Draka were coming. "New orders to all battle groups," Ryan said. "Draka forces are now considered hostile. If they engage, destroy them. If they withdraw, let them go. We are not looking to fight the entire Council, but we will not tolerate interference." The Draka fleet arrived at Cathon the 7th, a mining colony with a small military garrison. They found human ships already there, bombarding the garrison from orbit. War leader Krenth ordered his fleet to attack. The human ships did not run. They turned to face the Draka armada. "They are insane," Krenth's tactical officer said. "We outnumber them 10 to 1. "Then this will be easy," Krenth said. "All ships, engage." The Draka fleet opened fire with plasma cannons and missile batteries. The human ships simply vanished. One moment they were there, the next they were gone. The Draka weapons hit empty space. "Where did they go?" Krenth demanded. The human ships reappeared inside the Draka formation. Their weapons fired at point-blank range. Draka ships exploded. Dozens of them. Then hundreds. The humans moved impossibly fast, phasing in and out of normal space, firing from distances and angles that should not be possible. In 20 minutes, the Draka fleet was gone. All 600 ships destroyed. 80,000 Draka warriors dead. The human fleet took minimal damage. Signal to Draka High Command. Ryan broadcast on all frequencies. "You chose to defend child killers. This is the result. Stand down or be destroyed. There will be no third warning. Ryan, 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 Ryan." The Draka did not send another fleet. Commander Katie Sullivan's fleet appeared at the edge of Council space. Her orders were simple. Blockade. Nothing in, nothing out. The Council was now in a cage. "Sir, we are receiving hundreds of civilian ships requesting passage," her communications officer said. "Traders, transports, even some refugee ships from Cathon space." "No passage," Katie said. "Nobody leaves Council space until this is over. Nobody enters either. We are sealing the border. Some of these ships have families on board, children." Katie looked at the display. She saw the ships, saw their distress signals. She thought about Emma Collins, 8 years old, shot down while reading an essay. "They are alive," Katie said coldly. "They get to hold their children. Emma's father does not. The blockade stands." The Council tried one more time to reach Earth. They sent a message on every frequency, every channel. They begged for negotiation. They promised reforms. They offered to hand over Vrax and anyone else involved. The only response they got was from Daniel Collins. His message was brief. "You had 21 days. You chose politics. Now you get war. This ends when we say it ends." On Cathon Prime, High Commander Draxus looked at his remaining forces. He had 200 ships left. 200 out of 1,200. His empire was dying. "We need to do something," his second-in-command said. "We need leverage. What kind of leverage? The Council has refugee centers on 3 worlds. Billions of civilians from various species. If we threaten them, if we make it clear, we will detonate antimatter devices and kill them all. Maybe the humans will stop. Draxus stared at him. You want to hold billions of innocents hostage? You want to become the monsters the humans think we are? We are already monsters, sir. We killed a human child and called it legal. We might as well act like monsters if it saves our empire. Draxus thought about it. He thought about his oath to protect the Cathon people. He thought about 2,000 years of civilization about to be destroyed. He thought about his own children, his grandchildren, who would grow up in a galaxy where the Cathon Empire no longer existed. Do it, he said quietly. Prepare the devices. Send the message to Earth. Tell them if they do not cease their attacks, we will detonate antimatter bombs on 3 Council worlds. Tell them we will kill everyone. The message went out. The Council heard it and panicked. 3 worlds, billions of lives, held hostage by the Cathons. Admiral Ryan Foster read the message. He read it twice to make sure he understood. Then he smiled. It was not a nice smile. They think holding innocents hostage will stop us, Ryan said to his officers. They think we are like them. They think we make the same calculations, value the same things. They learned nothing. What are your orders, sir? His tactical officer asked. Get me Colonel Alex Morrison, Ryan said. Tell him it is time for his team to do what they do best. Tell him we have 3 impossible rescues to pull off, and he has 40 minutes to do them all. Colonel Alex Morrison was a Special Forces operative. His team did not exist on any official roster. They specialized in operations that should not be possible. Sir, Alex said when he received his orders, you want us to extract antimatter devices from inside 3 planets and do it fast enough that the Cathons cannot detonate them? That is impossible. Colonel Alex Morrison stood in the transport bay with his team. They were 12 people. The best Special Forces operators humanity had ever produced. What they were about to do should have taken weeks of planning. They had 30 minutes. Listen up, Alex said. 3 planets. 3 antimatter devices. The Cathons buried them deep, probably in the planetary cores, to make them hard to reach. We go in fast, use the phase generators to reach the devices, and extract them using spatial displacement. Questions. Nobody asked questions. They all knew the mission was insane. They also knew that if they failed, billions of innocent people would die, and humanity would become the monsters everyone feared. Team Alpha takes Planet 1, Alex continued. Team Bravo takes Planet 2. I take Planet 3 with Team Charlie. We have 20 minutes to find the devices. 10 minutes to extract them. Move out. The teams boarded their ships. These were not normal ships. They used technology that bent space itself, allowing them to phase through solid matter. Each team had a spatial displacement unit, a device that could move objects from one point in space to another instantly. Alex's ship dropped toward the 3rd planet, a world called Sanctuary. 2 billion refugees lived there, people fleeing conflicts across the galaxy. The Cathons had planted an antimatter bomb somewhere below the surface. Scanning. His tech specialist, Corporal Nina Frost, said, looking for antimatter signatures. Got it. The device is 4,000 kilometers down, right in the upper mantle. The Cathons really buried it deep. Can we reach it? Alex asked. With the phase generator, yes. But we will be blind down there. We will not be able to communicate or see anything. We will be working on sensors alone. Then we better hope the sensors are right. Take us down. The ship phased through the planet's surface like it was not there. Solid rock passed through them as if they were ghosts. The temperature readings climbed as they went deeper. 4,000 kilometers down, the planet's mantle was hot enough to melt steel instantly. But the phase field protected them, kept them in their own bubble of reality. Device located, Nina said. It is right ahead. A standard Chthon antimatter warhead. About 200 kilotons. Enough to crack this planet open. How do we extract it? I am setting up the displacement field now. We need to be careful. If we displace the antimatter without its containment, it will react with normal matter and explode. We need to move the entire device, containment and all. Alex watched the readings. They had 15 minutes left. Team Alpha and Team Bravo were doing the same thing on the other two planets. If even one team failed, the Chthons would detonate their devices and kill billions. Field ready, Nina said, locking onto the device. Displacement in 3, 2, 1, now. The antimatter bomb vanished. It reappeared in space near Admiral Foster's flagship. Robotic arms grabbed it and loaded it into a specially shielded container. Device secured, Nina reported. Extraction complete. Team Alpha is clear, came the report over the comm. Device extracted successfully. Device 8. Everyone waited. Team Bravo had not reported yet. They had 5 minutes left. Team Bravo, report. Alex said. Static. Team Bravo, do you copy? More static. Alex felt his stomach tighten. If Team Bravo failed, if the Chthons detonated that device, 2 billion people would die. Team Bravo reporting. A voice finally came through. It was Lieutenant Paul Dixon, the team leader. We had complications. The Chthons put the device inside a magnetic containment field. We had to break the field before we could displace the device. But we got it. Device extracted. All teams clear. Alex let out a breath he did not know he was holding. They had done it. 3 impossible extractions in under 30 minutes. Admiral Foster, Alex reported. All 3 devices are secured. The hostages are safe. Good work, Colonel, Ryan said. Now let us show the Chthons what happens when they threaten innocent lives. Prepare to launch the devices. On Chthon Prime, High Commander Draxus waited for confirmation that the bombs were armed and ready. He had given the humans 1 hour to respond to his ultimatum. That hour was almost up. Sir, his communications officer said. We are receiving a message from the human fleet. They say they have extracted all 3 antimatter devices. That is impossible, Draxus said. Those devices were 4,000 kilometers deep. Nobody can reach them. They are showing us visual confirmation, sir. The devices are on their ships. Draxus looked at the screen. There they were. 3 Chthon antimatter bombs, sitting in containment fields on human ships. Somehow, in less than an hour, the humans had done the impossible. They are launching something, the sensor officer said. Multiple objects moving at high speed. Trajectory is toward our sun. Draxus knew what it was before the officer said it. The humans had taken the antimatter bombs and were throwing them into Chthon Prime's star. What will happen? Draxus asked quietly. The antimatter will react with the star's hydrogen. It will destabilize the fusion process. The star will go supernova within 48 hours. The Council watched in real time as the antimatter bombs hit Chthon Prime's sun. The star's energy output began to fluctuate wildly. Radiation levels spiked. The star was dying. And it would take the Chthon home system with it. Admiral Ryan Foster broadcast his message across all frequencies so everyone in the galaxy could hear. You held innocents hostage and threatened to murder them, Ryan said. His voice was cold as ice. You thought this would stop us. You thought we would negotiate. You were wrong. We do not negotiate with child killers. We do not allow hostage situations. We solve them. He paused, letting his words sink in. Your star will explode in approximately 48 hours. Every planet in your home system will be destroyed. We are offering evacuation to all Chthon civilians. We will save everyone who wants to be saved. Transport ships are on their way to your worlds. Anyone who boards them will be taken to safety and given new worlds to settle. Far from here. Another pause. But your government, your military leadership, everyone who voted to call Emma Collins' murder legal, you will stay. You will remain on Chthon Prime and watch your son die. You will know that you killed it by choosing politics over justice. You will have 48 hours to think about what you have done. Then, you will burn. End. The broadcast ended. Across Chthon Prime, civilians rushed to the spaceports. Human transport ships appeared in orbit. Huge vessels that could carry millions. The evacuations began immediately. High Commander Draxus stood in the command center watching his people flee. He had been ordered to remain, along with the entire High Command, the Planetary Council, and anyone who had supported the judicial ruling about Emma's death. 40,000 Chthons in total. 40,000 who would die when the star exploded. We could try to evacuate, his second-in-command said. We could steal ships, run for the outer systems. The humans would stop us, Draxus said. They have ships everywhere. This entire system is locked down. They are only letting civilians leave. We were given our sentence. We will serve it. Over the next 2 days, 4 billion Chthon civilians evacuated. The human ships took them all, asked no questions, demanded no payment. They simply loaded people up and took them to safety. It was more mercy than the Chthons had shown Emma Collins. On the last day, Daniel Collins came to Chthon Prime. His ship landed at the capital, and he walked through the empty streets to the government building. The city was silent. Everyone was gone, except the condemned. He found High Commander Draxus in his office, staring out the window at the dying sun. It was brighter now, burning hotter, as the antimatter poisoned its fusion. Ambassador Collins, Draxus said without turning around. I did not expect you to come in person. I wanted to see you before the end, Daniel said. He still carried Emma's flag. To gloat? No. To understand. Why did you do it? Why did Vrax shoot my daughter? She was a child. She was no threat to anyone. Draxus finally turned to face him. The Chthon looked old, tired, defeated. Vrax believed humans were dangerous, Draxus said. He believed you were hiding weapons, hiding technology. He was right about the technology part. You were hiding it. But he was wrong to kill your daughter. I know that. Everyone knows that. Then why did you not stop it? Why did the council call it legal? Politics, fear, pride. Take your pick. The Chthon Empire is powerful. We have been powerful for 2,000 years. We did not think the consequences would be this severe. We thought you would protest, maybe impose sanctions. We did not think you would destroy us. Daniel looked at him for a long moment. My daughter believed in the council, Daniel said softly. She wrote an essay about cooperation and learning from each other. She thought the galaxy could be better if everyone worked together. She was 8 years old, and she believed in something good. I know. I read her essay. You killed that belief. You killed her, and then you called it legal. What did you think would happen? Draxus had no answer. They stood in silence, watching the sun grow brighter. We evacuated your people, Daniel said. 4 billion civilians, all safe. We gave them new worlds, resources to rebuild. Your empire is gone, but your people will survive. Why? Draxus asked. Why show us mercy? 3 months after Emma Collins died, her father stood before what remained of the Galactic Council. The chamber was different now. 12 species had withdrawn completely, refusing to be part of an organization that had failed so badly. 23 others stood with humanity, demanding complete reform. The council as it existed was finished. Daniel wore his ambassador uniform, but he carried Emma's flag with him. He always carried it now. The bloodstains had been cleaned, but he could still see where they had been. The delegates watched him with fear and respect. They had seen what humanity could do when pushed. They had watched the Chthon Empire burn. The Tenyu, with fear. They had witnessed technology and weapons beyond anything they thought possible. and they knew humanity had been holding back for 3 years, pretending to be weaker than they were. "Members of the council," Daniel began. His voice was calm, steady. He sounded like a man who had cried all his tears and had none left. 3 months ago, my daughter died in this chamber. She was 8 years old. She came here because she won a contest. Her essay was about cooperation, about different species learning from each other, about building a better galaxy. Together. He held up the flag so everyone could see it. These are the signatures of her classmates. 24 children who wanted to tell Emma they were proud of her. She carried this flag when she came here. She was holding it when Counselor Vrax shot her. She was holding it when she died. The chamber was silent. Not a single delegate spoke. "You ruled her death legal," Daniel continued. "You said it was a justified security operation. You chose politics over justice because the Cathons were powerful, and you were afraid. So we showed you what real power looks like. We destroyed the Cathon military. We evacuated their civilians. We killed their leadership. We turned their home system into radioactive dust, and we did it in less than a month." Counselor Talix of the Vryn stood up. She was one of the few delegates Daniel respected. She had voted against the ruling. She had resigned in protest. "Ambassador Collins," Talix said, "the Council acknowledges our failure. We acknowledge that justice was not served. We are prepared to make reforms to ensure this never happens again." "Reforms," Daniel repeated. The word sounded bitter in his mouth. "You think reforms are enough? You think changing some rules will fix what you did? What else can we offer? The Cathons are gone. Vrax is dead. Everyone who supported the ruling is dead. We cannot undo what happened. We can only try to do better." Daniel looked around the chamber. He saw aliens from dozens of worlds, hundreds of different species. Some looked ashamed. Some looked afraid. A few looked angry, as if humanity was the villain in this story. "You are wondering what we want," Daniel said. "You are wondering if humanity will take over the council, become the new tyrants, rule through fear. Let me be clear about what happened here. We did not become monsters. We simply stopped pretending to be as patient as you assumed." He walked to the center of the chamber, to the spot where Emma had stood. "My daughter believed in you. She believed the council stood for something good. She believed that different species could work together, learn from each other, build something better than any one civilization could build alone. You proved her wrong in the worst way possible." Daniel's voice did not rise. It stayed level, controlled. That made his words hit harder. "So here is what is going to happen. The council will be reformed, not just small changes, complete reformation, and humanity will have oversight of every part of it." Counselor Hexus of the Draka stood up. The Draka had lost 600 ships trying to defend the Cathons. They were not happy. "You cannot demand oversight of the entire council," Hexus said. "That is not how this works. You do not get to rule us because you have bigger weapons. Watch me," Daniel said flatly. He pulled out a datapad and displayed it on the main screen. "These are humanity's terms. They are not negotiable. You will accept them all, or we will withdraw from the council permanently. And when we withdraw, we will take 23 other species with us. That will leave you with barely half the council. No trade agreements, no military alliances, no scientific cooperation. You will be alone while we build a new alliance without you." The delegates looked at the terms. They read them carefully. Some gasped. Others went pale, as much as their species could. The first term stated that the council's judicial system would be dissolved and rebuilt with human oversight. No more political decisions. No more protecting the powerful. Justice would be actual justice, not politics wearing a judge's robe. The second term was simple but brutal. Any species that harmed a human child would face complete military and economic annihilation. No exceptions. No trials. No second chances. The message was clear. Humanity's children were untouchable. The third term required humanity to maintain a permanent fleet presence in Council space. This fleet would operate independently and answer only to Earth. It would enforce the new justice system and ensure compliance with all Council decisions. The fourth term stated that any Council decision involving human interests required human approval. Humanity would have veto power over anything that affected them. The fifth term was personal. The date of Emma's death would become Galactic Justice Day. Every species in the Council would be required to observe it. It would be a reminder of what happens when politics matters more than doing what is right. These terms are impossible, Hexus protested. You are asking us to surrender our sovereignty. No, Daniel said. I am telling you the price of your mistake. You killed my daughter and called it legal. This is what it costs to make sure you never do that again to anyone's child. The debate lasted for hours. Some species argued. Some refused. But in the end, they all knew the truth. Humanity had the power to enforce these terms, whether the Council agreed or not. The only question was whether the Council would survive at all. The vote was called. 38 species voted to accept the terms. 6 voted against. 3 abstained. It was enough. The Galactic Council would continue, but it would be completely different. Humanity had not destroyed it. They had remade it in the image of what it should have been all along. Commander Jake Martinez took command of the new human enforcement fleet. His base was the old Council station, but it had been renamed. It was now Emma Station. The entire facility was rebuilt. At its center was a memorial garden. Jake walked through the garden every day. At its center stood a statue. It showed a small girl with braids, holding a flag. The statue's face was peaceful, happy. It captured Emma Collins the way she had been before Vrax shot her. Young, innocent, believing in something good. Around the statue was a ring of trees from Earth. Oak, maple, cherry blossom. They grew in artificial soil under artificial sunlight. But they grew strong. Each tree had a plaque with the name of a species that had voted against the ruling that called Emma's death legal. It was a reminder that some had tried to do the right thing. Every delegate who came to Emma Station had to pass through the garden. They had to see the statue. They had to remember what their failure had cost. Dr. Lisa Chen continued her research, but the galaxy knew the truth now. Humanity had been hiding advanced technology for decades. They had stealth ships that could disappear, weapons that could disintegrate matter, engines that moved faster than physics said was possible. They had been watching, waiting, testing the Council to see if they were joining a civilization or just another empire. They got their answer when Emma died. The Chthon survivors were scattered across a dozen worlds now. They were forbidden from forming any government or military. They could live, work, raise families, but never again as an empire. Some species thought this was cruel. Humanity's response was always the same. They showed more mercy than the Chthons showed Emma. 5 years passed. The galaxy changed. The new Council was different, cleaner, more just. Decisions were based on law and ethics, not political power. Species that had been oppressed found their voices heard. Conflicts that would have led to war were resolved peacefully, but everyone knew why. It was not because the Council had suddenly become wise. It was because humanity watched everything. And everyone knew what happened if you broke the rules too badly. Admiral Ryan Foster retired from active duty. He had done what he set out to do. The Chthon Empire was gone. The Council was reformed. Justice had been served, as much as it could be. He spent his retirement teaching at the military academy, making sure every young officer understood the lesson. Humanity's patience had limits, and crossing those limits meant annihilation. On the 5th anniversary of Emma's death, Daniel Collins returned to Emma Station. He was retired now, no longer an ambassador, just a father who had lost his daughter. He walked through the memorial garden alone. He touched each tree, read each plaque. He stood in front of the statue for a long time, just looking at it. It captured her, so perfectly. The artist had used photographs and videos to get every detail right. The way she smiled, the brightness in her eyes, the hope she carried. "Hey, sweetheart," Daniel said quietly. Nobody else was around. It was just him and the statue. "I came to tell you about what happened. The council changed, not because they wanted to, but because we made them. The galaxy is different now. Safer. More just. You would like it, I think." He sat on a bench near the statue. "I know you wanted everyone to work together. I know you believed in cooperation and understanding. I tried, Emma. I really did. But they killed you, and they called it legal. I could not let that stand. I could not let them think killing children was acceptable if you had the right political excuse." A transport ship flew overhead, carrying delegates to a council session. They would walk past this garden on their way to the chamber. They would see the statue. They would remember. "The galaxy calls this the human century," Daniel continued. "They say we reshaped civilization. But I do not care about that. I just wanted you back. I just wanted to hear you laugh again, watch you grow up, see the person you would become. They took that from both of us." He wiped his eyes. "Even after 5 years, the tears still came. I planted a tree for you today. An oak, from the park near our house on Earth. Remember how you used to climb it? How you would sit in the branches and read your books? I brought a piece of that tree here. It will grow in this garden and remind everyone that you were real. You were not just a story or a symbol. You were my daughter, and you deserve to live." Daniel stood up. He touched the statue's hand, the one holding the flag. "I love you, Emma. I will always love you. And I promise, nobody will ever forget what happened here. Nobody will ever think killing children is acceptable. Not while humanity has anything to say about it." He walked away slowly. Behind him, the statue stood in the garden, surrounded by trees and flowers from Earth. Above it, the words carved in stone: Emma Collins, age 8. She believed in a better galaxy. The galaxy failed her. Humanity will ensure it never fails another child. The council met that day like they did every week. They debated trade agreements and border disputes and scientific collaborations. But first, they observed Galactic Justice Day. They stood in silence for 1 minute. They remembered the girl who died, because politics mattered more than justice. And they remembered what humanity did when they crossed that line. The Chthon Empire was gone. Their home system was radioactive dust. Their military was destroyed. Their government was dead. All because they killed one child and called it legal. The lesson was simple. The lesson was permanent. The lesson was written in the ruins of an empire and the memorial garden of a station named after a little girl. Humanity had shown the galaxy what it meant to value life over politics. They showed that some lines should never be crossed. They showed that children were not acceptable casualties in political games, and the galaxy would never forget, because Emma Collins had believed in them. And when they failed her, humanity made sure the price was so high that nobody would ever make that mistake again. The council still existed, but it existed under humanity's shadow, reformed by humanity's rage, shaped by humanity's grief. It was a better council now. Fairer. More just. But everyone knew why. They knew what happened when you killed a human child and called it legal. Earth did not just retaliate. Earth annihilated them. And the galaxy learned to be better, or face the same fate. Because we are not you, Daniel said simply. We do not kill innocents. We do not murder children. We only kill those who choose to cross the line you crossed. Daniel turned to leave. At the door, he stopped and looked back. You have 12 hours left. I suggest you use them to think about what you have done. Think about how one moment of violence, one decision to kill a child, destroyed everything you built. And when the sun explodes and you burn, remember her name. Emma Collins. Remember the child you killed. Remember what it cost you. Daniel walked out. His ship left the planet. 12 hours later, Chthon Prime's sun went supernova. The explosion consumed all 6 planets in the system. 40,000 Chthon officials died in an instant, vaporized by nuclear fire. The Chthon Empire, which had stood for 2,000 years, was gone. Their military was destroyed. Their government was dead. Their home system was an expanding cloud of radioactive gas. The message was clear to everyone in the galaxy. Humanity had limits. Cross those limits, and there would be no negotiation, no mercy, no second chances, just annihilation. So was defeating the Chthon military, Ryan said. Yet here we are. Can you do it or not? Alex looked at his team. They looked back at him. They were the best humanity had. If anyone could pull off an impossible mission, it was them. Give us 30 minutes, Alex said. Have your ships ready to receive the devices. Where will you put them? Chthon Prime's sun, Alex said. Seems fitting, does it not? 30 Chthon warships died in the first 10 seconds. The rest tried to fight back, but they were firing at targets they could barely see. Human ships dodged and weaved with impossible speed. Their slipspace drives letting them move in ways that broke the rules of normal physics. In 3 minutes, every Chthon ship was gone. The shipyard was destroyed. Jake's wing took no casualties. Target destroyed, Jake reported. Moving to next objective. Across Chthon space, the same scene played out. Human ships appeared without warning. They destroyed military targets with brutal efficiency. They vanished before reinforcements could arrive. The Chthon military, so proud and powerful, was being taken apart piece by piece, and humanity was just getting started. Sir, Greg said quietly, what are your orders? Daniel looked down at his daughter one last time. At her peaceful face. At the flag still in her hand. At the essay that talked about friendship and cooperation and learning from each other. Tell Earth Command, Daniel said. His voice was empty, hollow. Tell them what happened here. Tell them the council called it legal. Tell them to bring everyone home. All our people. Every human in council space. Bring them all home. And then? Greg asked. Daniel looked up at the captain. His eyes were dry now. Empty. And then we show them what happens when you kill our children and call it law.